would have been a push for her to become the next president and amend the Constitution. So she could be. But they
of Sunny Hostin on The View, Tom, basically implicating her husband in this type of a scheme.
Sunny Hostin, one of the most talked about personalities on daytime television, recently found herself caught in a whirlwind of controversy that has left audiences stunned and critics circling like sharks. Known for her fiery rhetoric and impassioned advocacy for social justice, she has built her reputation as a strong-willed, unapologetically vocal co-host of The View. Whether she's calling out systemic inequality or championing reparations, Sunny has positioned herself as a figure of moral authority, a voice for the oppressed, a challenger of power structures, and frankly, someone who doesn't shy away from controversy.
One thing, and I would have even actually not give her any is she said, well, I guess that's just what they did back then.
Yeah.
She should have followed that up with saying something along the lines of, and I understand that that's a departure from the way I've talked about this before. That was to me, the one thing that was missing.
Yeah.
Right?
But what happens when a moral crusader's own past comes back to haunt them? That's exactly what unfolded when Sunny decided to participate in PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show that traces the genealogical histories of celebrities. What should have been a heartwarming exploration of her heritage instead turned into a shocking revelation that left her and the public reeling.
Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them, Dana? And it is funny. She is so wrapped up in identity, and she had no idea who she was.
Let's set the stage. Sunny Hostin has long made headlines for her strong opinions on racial justice and equality. She's been an advocate for reparations, often arguing that descendants of enslaved people are owed recompense for the systemic injustices that have persisted for generations. On The View, she's been at the forefront of heated debates, calling out what she perceives as racial hypocrisy and privilege. Her voice carries weight in these discussions, and she's never been one to back down or mince words. This is someone who has built her career on the foundation of confronting uncomfortable truths, at least when those truths involve other people. But as it turns out, even Sunny wasn't prepared for the skeletons hiding in her own family closet.
Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice.
In her much-anticipated appearance on Finding Your Roots, Sunny sat across from renowned genealogist Henry Louis Gates Jr., eagerly awaiting the stories of her ancestors. Like most participants of the show, she likely expected a mix of inspiring tales and perhaps a few surprises. What she got, however, was the kind of bombshell that no one, not even the most seasoned political commentator, could have seen coming. Gates revealed that Sunny's ancestors weren't just immigrants or marginalized figures struggling to make it in a new world. Instead, they were slaveholders, people who directly profited from the very system Sunny has spent years denouncing. The revelation landed like a thunderclap. The usually composed and confident Sunny was visibly shaken. She blinked in disbelief, her initial reaction a mixture of shock and awkward silence. "I didn't think my family was originally from Spain or slaveholders," she stammered, clearly struggling to process the information. It was a rare moment of vulnerability for someone who is typically quick with a sharp retort or a well-prepared argument. The room fell silent, the weight of the moment palpable. Gates, ever the professional, tried to guide her through the discovery, but the damage was done. For someone who has been so vocal about holding others accountable for the sins of their ancestors, this was a twist no one could have predicted.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Sunny's immediate response to the revelation was, to put it mildly, underwhelming. Instead of taking a moment to reflect, or even show a hint of remorse, she brushed it off as just another fact of life. "I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots," she said, attempting to pivot the conversation toward her family. It was a deflection that didn't sit well with many viewers who expected more introspection from someone so outspoken about historical accountability. Critics were quick to point out the irony. Here was a woman who had built her career on calling out others for their privilege and complicity, now faced with undeniable evidence of her own family's direct involvement in one of history's greatest injustices.
So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
The internet, of course, wasted no time in reacting. Social media platforms lit up with memes, jokes, and biting commentary. One viral tweet sarcastically declared, "Sunny Hostin finding out her family were slaveholders is the plot twist of the year." Another quipped, "Reparations? Let me write that check to myself real quick." The memes were ruthless, with one depicting Sunny in a mock family tree labeled "Roots of Hypocrisy." While some fans defended her, arguing that she shouldn't be blamed for the actions of her ancestors, others weren't so forgiving. "It's not about blaming her for what her ancestors did," one commenter wrote. "It's about the hypocrisy of shaming others while ignoring the skeletons in your own closet." And then, of course, there was Gutfeld. The outspoken television host and commentator used the news as an opportunity to criticize Sunny Hostin and what he saw as her apparent double standards. He compared the revelation about Sunny's ancestors being slave owners to the irony of a vegan secretly owning a barbecue joint, a remark that drew laughter from the audience. Gutfeld continued by dissecting what he described as Sunny's lack of accountability, suggesting that, rather than addressing her family's history directly, she seemed more focused on deflecting and moving on. He added that the next time Sunny brought up issues of race on The View, someone might remind her of her own family's history, using humor and scorn to emphasize his criticism.
You're right. Anytime she says something stupid, I'm going to go, slave owner!
But the fallout didn't end with Sunny's personal history. In the days following the revelation, rumors began swirling about the influence her husband, Emmanuel Hostin, might have on her opinions and public persona. Some critics speculated that Sunny's outspoken views on racial justice were partially shaped, or even dictated, by her husband, an orthopedic surgeon who has faced his own share of controversy. This isn't the first time accusations of hypocrisy have been leveled against the couple, and the timing of these rumors couldn't have been worse for Sunny. The suggestion that she might be parroting someone else's beliefs rather than speaking from her own convictions only added fuel to the fire.
According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries.
If anything, the scandal has exposed a glaring double standard in how Sunny approaches accountability. On The View, she's quick to condemn public figures for their pasts, often framing their actions within the broader context of systemic injustice. But when faced with her own family's complicity in that very system, her response was, at best, dismissive. Critics argue that this lack of introspection undermines her credibility and raises questions about whether she's truly committed to the principles she so passionately defends.
Well, now we understand why she always makes Whoopi get the coffee. No, that's not true.
That's not true.
But you think about things that she said and how offensive they are.
Yeah.
Well,
even her co-hosts on The View seemed unsure how to handle the situation. Whoopi Goldberg, known for her quick wit and biting humor, reportedly held back a joke about Sunny's newfound heritage, perhaps sensing that the moment was too sensitive to exploit. Joy Behar, never one to shy away from controversy, allegedly remarked off-camera that Sunny's reaction was a missed opportunity to engage in a meaningful conversation about historical accountability. The tension within the group was palpable, with some speculating that the scandal could strain Sunny's relationships with her fellow co-hosts.
So we know Sunny Hostin and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, are preparing for a legal battle to fight accusations that he committed federal insurance fraud.
As the dust began to settle, the bigger question became, what does this mean for Sunny's future? Will she use this moment as an opportunity for growth and reflection, or will she continue to deflect and dismiss? Critics argue that her response, or lack thereof, could have lasting implications for her career. After all, audiences expect a certain level of authenticity from public figures, especially those who position themselves as moral authorities. By failing to address her own family's history with the same rigor she applies to others, Sunny risks alienating the very audience that has supported her for so long. The fallout from Sunny Hostin's ancestral revelations and ongoing controversies was only the beginning. What followed was a cascade of rumors, lawsuits, and whispers that she might be on the verge of being ousted from The View. a show synonymous with passionate debates and fiery exchanges. Sunny, once a celebrated voice for change on the panel, now finds herself at the center of a swirling storm of scandal, legal drama, and public backlash. The question on everyone's mind is simple. Has Sunny Hostin crossed the point of no return?
And they're essentially saying that it's a money grab. And they're also going to countersue for millions of dollars, $5 million plus.
The rumors of her potential departure from The View began quietly, but quickly gained traction in entertainment circles. Sources close to the production claimed there were concerns behind the scenes about Sunny's growing list of controversies, from her husband's legal troubles to her own family history coming under scrutiny. It's no secret that The View thrives on the chemistry and diversity of its co-hosts, but even the most successful formula can crack under the weight of too much negative attention. And Sunny's increasingly polarizing presence might just be testing the limits. One source, who allegedly works closely with the show's producers, suggested that Sunny's outspoken nature and recent scandals have made her a liability. Sunny has always pushed boundaries, but this time it's different, the insider reportedly said. There's a sense that she's bringing more trouble than she's worth. The producers are worried that the backlash from viewers and the lawsuits could damage the show's reputation. If that's true, then the stakes couldn't be higher for Sunny, who has been a co-host on the show since 2016 and has built much of her public brand on the platform's massive reach.
Oh, he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange.
And speaking of lawsuits, let's talk about the legal mess piling up around The View, with Sunny often finding herself at the center. One of the most jaw-dropping cases involves none other than Melania Trump. Yes, you heard that right. Former First Lady Melania Trump is reportedly suing The View and Sunny Hostin, claiming defamation over comments made about her personal life and her relationship with Donald Trump. It all started with Sunny's infamous remarks during a segment on the show where she speculated that Melania hates her husband and wants to take him out. While the comment was clearly intended as lighthearted banter, Melania's legal team didn't see it that way.
Here's some news for you. The former First Lady has been noticeably absent on her husband's campaign.
According to insider reports, Melania's lawsuit alleges that the remarks were not only false, but also intended to damage her reputation. The former First Lady's legal team is said to be seeking a staggering amount in damages. Some rumors even suggest it could be in the hundreds of millions. But here's the kicker. Melania isn't just targeting Sunny. The lawsuit reportedly names the entire production team of The View as well as ABC for allowing what her lawyers describe as reckless and defamatory statements to air. Whether or not the case has any merit, the sheer spectacle of it has been enough to keep The View and Sunny squarely in the headlines. And Melania isn't the only one taking legal action. Over the past year, The View has faced a slew of lawsuits, many of which seem to revolve around Sunny's fiery commentary. Critics have accused her of crossing the line between opinion and defamation on multiple occasions, and some of those accusations have turned into full-blown legal battles. One particularly high-profile case involves a prominent New York surgeon who claimed that Sunny's comments about the healthcare industry were not only inaccurate, but also damaging to his professional reputation. The lawsuit, which reportedly seeks millions in damages, has added yet another layer of tension to an already precarious situation for the show.
We haven't seen her, and her description of Donald Trump doesn't track with the reality of what we've seen. And I can't relate to the marriage or if they're even in the same place at the same time. So I don't think that's the way.
For Sunny, the legal troubles don't stop at The View. Her husband, Emmanuel Hostin, is currently embroiled in a massive lawsuit of his own, and the details are nothing short of dramatic. Hostin, a well-known orthopedic surgeon, has been named as one of 200 defendants in a federal case brought by American Transit, a commercial insurance company. The lawsuit alleges that Hostin and others engaged in fraudulent billing practices, including performing unnecessary surgeries and pocketing kickbacks disguised as dividends. If the allegations are true, the financial implications could be devastating, not to mention the damage to Sunny's already embattled public image.
It does not look well when your name ends up with 200 people in a RICO investigation. This is the biggest investigation since Giuliani shook the tree and a bunch of mobsters fell out, right? This is big stuff. And so, and thank you for bringing that video. It sure is ironic that she's up there. So, but
in response to the lawsuit, Sunny has come out swinging, publicly defending her husband and accusing American Transit of launching a smear campaign against her family. This company has a history of filing frivolous claims, Sunny said in a statement, doubling down on her belief that the lawsuit is baseless. She even went so far as to threaten a counter-lawsuit for defamation, claiming that American Transit has used her celebrity status to tarnish her family's reputation. But critics have been quick to point out the irony of Sunny, who has built her brand on holding others accountable, now finding herself on the defensive.
Totally different perspective on this. I don't really know what happened with this. The facts will come out. What I have a problem with is the core of who this woman is. Unlike you, I don't watch The View, bro. All I do is see clips.
It's just like twice a day.
But here's all I hear from her. America's violent, America's racist, America's bad. Okay.
The timing of the legal troubles couldn't be worse for Sunny, especially given the rumors that the producers of The View are considering a shakeup. Some insiders believe that her involvement in these high-profile scandals has made her a distraction, pulling focus away from the show's mission of tackling important issues and engaging viewers in meaningful discussions. The show is bigger than any one person, one source reportedly said. If Sunny's controversies start to overshadow the show itself, then it might be time for a change. Adding fuel to the fire are the whispers that Sunny's co-hosts aren't exactly thrilled with the attention her scandals have been bringing to the show. While The View has always thrived on spirited debate, there's a fine line between healthy disagreement and outright division, and Sunny's recent controversies may be pushing things too far. Reports suggest that tensions have been bubbling behind the scenes, with some co-hosts allegedly feeling that Sunny's personal drama is starting to take a toll on the group dynamic. Whether those rumors are true or just tabloid gossip, they've only added to the sense that Sunny's position on the show might not be as secure as it once was.
But it's just, I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to...
And yet, for all the controversy and criticism, Sunny remains defiant. In a recent interview, she dismissed the rumors of her departure as completely unfounded and insisted that she has no plans to leave The View anytime soon. "I'm committed to having the tough conversations that this country needs," she said. "I'm not going anywhere." But even as she puts on a brave face, the question lingers. How long can Sunny continue to weather this storm? With lawsuits piling up, rumors swirling, and public opinion increasingly divided, her future on The View and in the public eye feels more uncertain than ever. At this point, it's impossible to predict what the future holds for Sunny Hostin. Will she emerge from this scandal stronger than ever, or will the weight of her controversies ultimately prove too much to bear? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned for more updates on this ever-evolving story.